Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time you're watching this video. My name is Abdulatif Odedeji, and I'm the one. And in this video, I'll be taking you through how to solve simultaneous equation using elimination method. Okay, using elimination method. So you might have in the last video I shared talked on I solved show you some examples on how to solve simultaneous equation using substitution method, and now you're going to be moving on to elimination method. Now what's the difference? When you say elimination, it means you eliminate something. It means elimination, another word, you mean you kill something. Excuse me. Remember that when you're dealing with simultaneous equation, we're dealing with we are solving two variables at the same time. Okay, so that means, so when you use elimination, it means that you're going to have to kill one variable, eliminate one variable first, then go ahead with the second variable before you can now come back to go and find the eliminated variable. Now there's some things that you need to uh, look on. There's some things that you need to take note of when you're using elimination method. One is that any variable that you want to eliminate must have the same coefficient. For example, now we have this question: 2x minus 3y equals to 11 and 3x minus 4y equals to 15. If you are to eliminate x in this particular simultaneous equation, x must have the same coefficient in both equations. That means if x is 2x in equation 1, it must be 2x in equation 2. If x is 4x in equation 1, it must be 4x in equation 2. The same thing with y. If you want to eliminate y, they have to have the same coefficients. And then apart from that, they also have to have different signs before you can eliminate them. You have to have different signs. But then there's a way to go about this, because when you get to a point, the first stage is to make sure that the variable you want to eliminate have different sign, have the same coefficient. Now after having the same coefficient, there's one thing you're going to do. Okay, and what is going to determine, there are two things you can do actually. So what's going to determine which of them you're going to do will depend on the sign both of the variables are having. So assuming in this particular case now you want to eliminate x, and from this equation you see that x is positive in the first equation, it is positive in the second equation. That's the same sign. So what that means is that when you want to do it, you have to subtract one equation from the other equation. And the reason why we're using subtract is that before you can cancel, can eliminate anything, they must have two different signs. So when you use subtract, it will change the sign of one of the equation, and then so if it is positive before it turns to negative, it is negative before it turns positive. The same thing for y in this equation. Y is negative in the first equation, is negative in the second equation. If you are to eliminate y, which is what you're going to be doing, you have to first you have to make sure that you subtract equation 1 from equation 2 or equation 2 from equation 1. It doesn't matter. Just have to make sure that you are using subtraction. But what if they are positive? One is positive, one is negative. Then you just need to add. You just need to add. Okay, that's one. That's two. Now another thing you need to understand is that in this particular equation now, we say that we don't x is not the same as x in both equations, the same thing with y. So what did you do? So we have to multiply the equations by a number that will make sure that the variable you want to eliminate have the same coefficients. And what we simply do is that we find the LCM of the two coefficients of the variable in both equations. For example, in this particular example, we're going to be eliminating y, and in the first question, in the first equation, the coefficient of y is 3, is minus 3, and the coefficient of y in the equation 2 is minus 4. So for us to get it, for us to actually uh, have both, make sure that y has the same coefficient, you have to find the LCM of 3 and 4. Most of the times it look as if we are just multiplying equation 1 by the coefficient of y in the second equation, and then multiply equation 2 by the second by the coefficient of y in equation 1. But it's not like that. What we're actually doing is that we are finding the LCM of both variables. Like the sum of 3 and 4 is 12. Okay, then what we now do is that what are we going to multiply by 3 to give us 12? That gives us automatic 4. Okay, what's SM of 3 and 4 is 12. What are we going to multiply by 4 to give us 3? That gives us 3. So in this case, it's very straightforward. So we can say we're multiplying the coefficient of y in equation 1, which is 3, by equation 2. But in a case where you have 2 and 4. Okay, you have to understand that the FCM is 4. So when you're multiplying equation 1 by 2, okay, to make it 4, you have to multiply equation 2 by just 1 to make it 4. So I hope you get that. So let's get into the working of the equation. So what you need to do now is we want to multiply equation 1 by 4 and then multiply equation 2 by 3. So let's quickly do that. Okay. Wow. So that's the first equation, right? And this is the second equation. So we just multiply this. So we want to multiply this by 3 by 4 rather, and multiply this by 3. Okay, let's multiply this by 3. So now what will be our answer? Let's work on that. So if we multiply this by 3, this will give us 4 rather, give us 8x. So we're going to have something like 8x plus minus 12y 12y, and that equals to 44. Okay, that equals to 44. Then if you had to multiply these two, remember we're multiplying equation 2 by 3, that gives us 9x minus 12y equals 45. Okay, hope you get that. So this will be our, okay, let me do that. This will be our equation 3, and this will be our equation 4. All right, remember we're using that's how we always do when you're using elimination method. All right. Okay, cool. So now, we have equation 3 and equation 4, and then by this now you can see that we now have the same. Okay, there is a mixed up somewhere. There's a mix up somewhere. Let me quickly correct this. The equation itself is plus. The correct equation is plus, not minus, minus. Okay, it's plus, not minus, minus. So this, our said we should go on with it, but it's going to affect our equation later because we won't get the same get the answer we ought to get. Alright, so it's plus. It does not affect anything yet since we are here to deal with the sign, and we are still making use of, we're still going to subtract both one of the equation from the other. Why? Because we are using we have the same sign, so it is plus. So please, whenever you're working with simultaneous equation, be very careful with your sign. It can mean a lot of difference. Okay, so we have a equation. So the next thing we have to do now is to subtract equation 1 from equation 2. Let me just write it here so you can see that. So subtract equation 3 actually from equation 4. Fantastic. Alright, so once subtract equation 3 from equation 4, so we simply have something like this: 9x. Simply have 9x minus 12y plus 12y minus, so I want to use brackets. Okay, minus, sorry, coming, Okay, so minus 8x plus 12y, so I'll just close the brackets. Okay, equals to 45 minus 44. Okay, so can you see that now? So we have 9x minus 12 minus 8x plus 12y equals 45 minus 44. Remember we are subtracting equation 3 from equation 4. So after that, if we are to solve this now, we're going to have something like 9x minus plus 12y minus 8x now. The minus I've opened the brackets, minus 12y equals to 1. Okay, and then if you solve this, if you collect the like terms, you're going to have something like let's collect the like terms now. Of 9x minus 8x plus 12y. Okay, minus 12y equals to 1. So from there, we simply know what the next one will be. Let's move on to the next page, to a new page. So this is where we are. Okay, so we have to solve this now. We're going to have this will give us 9x minus 8x, that's 1, just like we have 9 biscuits minus 8 biscuits will give us just 1 biscuit, and then 12y minus 12y will cancel each other, and that simply means s equals to 1. That's our answer. Let me just show you this here. Okay, so this will cancel this. Okay, let me use something more like, yeah. Okay, so this will just cancel this. So that means x equals to 1. So after getting our x equals to 1, all we simply do now is that we substitute for x in any of the 4 equations. Remember now we now have 4 equations. Substitute s equals to 1 in equation. Which equation should we use? You can use any of them. In equation 1. Simple. So now what is equation 1? Let's go and bring equation 1 here. So this is equation 1 here. Alright. We're just going to bring equation 1. Yeah, so this is equation 1. Remember that x equals to, let's just do that here. X equals to 1. So anywhere we see x, we just put 1. Okay. So we have something like this. Okay, so we have 2 brackets 1 plus 3y equals to 11. So if you solve this now, we're going to have something like 2 times 1 is 2, you know that. So 2 plus 3y equals to 11. Then we collect the like terms to give us 3y equals to 11. When we have a 2, when 2 comes to the other side, it becomes minus. So we have 11 minus 2. So we simply have 3y now equals to 9. Alright, and if we divide by 3, we're going to have just use this. Okay, maybe let me just rearrange this from there. Okay, So if you take y equals to 9, that means also by 3, that means y is automatically 3, because 9 divided by 3 will give us 3. Okay, so that's all. So this simply means that s is equals to 1 and y equals to 3, and that's the solution for our simultaneous equation. That's basically how to solve simultaneous equation using what? Elimination method. In the second video, we're going to have another example, and that will be on that we're going to take a scenario of where we have a differing signs. We have a plus and we have a minus. So hope you learned from this video. So comment and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you.